Shelley, would you please call the roll?
Ben Gatsky. Jeffrey. Catherine Bell.
Just try again. His name again.
Jeff Allison.
Present.
Catherine Bella.
Yes, I'm here.
Frank Coppersmith.
Here.
Stephen Frankie.
Here.
Jeffrey Tayon.
Present.
Gwen Hager. Melody Parrish.
Here.
Tager, I'm here.
Thank you. David Yoskowitz.
Thank you. We have a quorum.
We have four.
Thank you. My name is Frank Coppersmith. I have been designated as the presiding officer for this DIR board meeting by the DIR board chairman, Ben Gatsky, in compliance with the Open Meetings Act. I will be acting in his stead today and will direct this meeting in accordance with the requirements of the Open Meetings Act. This DIR board meeting has a hybrid meeting structure that is compliant with the Open Meetings Act. The meeting takes place at the physical location identified by the DIR agenda, with me as the board presiding officer on the premises. The public may participate in the meeting either in person at this physical location or through Zoom at the Zoom link provided in the DIR agenda. For Zoom attendees, you may see and hear through Zoom the video and audio of the open meetings physical premises and of the DIR board members or speaking panelists who are participating by Zoom. For those in attendance in the William P. Clements building, you'll see that we have set up monitors and speakers to ensure that you may see and hear the video of any board member participating by Zoom. DIR staff presenting to the board at this meeting will present either in person or through Zoom. If a DIR employee is presenting through Zoom, you will see and hear their video and audio throughout this room by way of the monitors and speakers that are set up. Members of the public who wish to address the board may do so either in person or through Zoom. If you plan to provide public comment in person, please ensure that you have indicated your intent to do so on the sign-in sheet at the table by the entryway. For those of you participating by Zoom who indicated during registration that you would like to provide public comment, you will be called by name to do so later in the meeting. Until that time, all Zoom attendees will remain muted. This ensures an orderly process so that the board can hear your comment fully. The general chat function in Zoom has been disabled to ensure DIR's compliance with the Open Meetings Act requirements. Attendees, please do not attempt to communicate with the DIR board or each other through any other Zoom messaging or question and answer functionality that may be available to you. If you would like to address the DIR's board, please ensure that you indicated during the Zoom registration or on the sign-up sheet by the door that you would like to provide public comment. Board members participating by Zoom, you must have your video on at all times to ensure compliance with the Open Meetings Act. However, please make sure that you are muted unless you are speaking. This will minimize disruptions and echoes. You will need to unmute yourself when you are speaking and voting. DIR board members, voting will be taken during this meeting by roll call. When you make or second a motion, regardless of whether you are on video or at the William P. Clements building, please state your name clearly for the record. This ensures that DIR staff have a reliable and accurate recording of the motion. Members, in your board books are the minutes from the August 2025 board meeting. You have had a chance to review those minutes. Do any board members have any corrections to make or discussions about the drafted board minutes? Nothing heard. May I have a motion to approve the minutes?
This is Stephen Frankie. So moved.
And may I have a second?
This is Jeff Allison. I second.
Any discussion? Shelley, please call the roll for a vote.
Jeffrey Allison.
Aye.
Catherine Bella.
Aye.
Frank Coppersmith.
Aye.
Stephen Frankie.
Aye.
Jeffrey Tayon.
Abstain.
Motion passed.
Ms. Crawford?
Thank you. On behalf of the board, at this time, I'd like to recognize the DIR Can Do Award winners for August and September. The monthly Can Do Award recognizes a DIR employee nominated by their coworkers who exemplifies DIR's core values. Winners receive 4 hours of administrative leave for outstanding performance. 8 hours of administrative leave for outstanding performance, a Can Do coffee mug, and a certificate recognizing their demonstrated commitment to DIR's all hands on deck attitude. August saw 2 Can Do Award winners. The first was Gloria C. Rivera in the General Counsel's office, who was nominated by Teresa Smith Hollis and Jenny Jackson. Gloria embodies DIR's ethos of be right, be fast, and always arrives to work with a how can I help attitude, even when she has a million things going on. No matter what she tackles, she makes sure she gets it right and always with a smile. Gloria's quiet leadership is such a gift. She is always ready to help, to dig in, and to share her knowledge, and she doesn't seek the limelight. She is calm, collected, incredibly productive, and makes it all look easy. We see you, Gloria, and we appreciate all you do for DIR. The second winner was the Chief Procurement Office's Tiffany Connell, who was nominated by Jonica Amifadon. Tiffany exemplifies the can-do attitude in everything she does, whether it's navigating through tough negotiation sessions, restructuring and creating revised protocols for the CPO enterprise team, or implementing team building events to foster collaboration and fun. Tiffany is the embodiment of action-oriented. She is a competent decision maker, tactical leader, and a generous coworker who is not only gracious and humble, but also expertly skilled in many areas, from axe throwing to grilling to disaster mitigation and organization. Axe throwing comes in handy during negotiations. Anyway, when it comes to Tiffany, Tiffany can do translates to already did. I'd also like to recognize our other August nominees, Stephen Pollard and Kim Witten. In September, our winner was Claudia Yanez in the Chief Financial Office, who was nominated by Skip Bartek. With her extensive telecom billing experience, an impressive set of technical skills, and a passion for sharing knowledge, Claudia has quickly become a respected leader who consistently demonstrates diligence, resilience, grace, and a can-do, will-do mindset that motivates both her staff and peers to achieve their best. Since arriving at DIR, she has streamlined reconciliation processes, resolved past due disputes, implemented sound business practices that benefit both vendors and customers, and built and trained a team that mirrors her own can-do attitude. Claudia truly embodies the spirit of Can Do Award and through her actions, positivity, and unwavering commitment to excellence. Congratulations to our Can Do winners and the nominees. Thank you for all that you do for DIR and the state.
Thank you, Ms. Crawford. Can we now have your report?
Absolutely. So good morning. Thank you to all of our board members who are joining us today. And I greatly appreciate you, Mr. Coppersmith, serving as the presiding officer in Chairman Gatsky's absence. Since our August board meeting, we've been busy with implementing many of the new laws that became effective on September 1st. Most of those new laws focus on 2 things: cybersecurity and artificial intelligence. First, I'll address the close work we've been doing with the newly appointed chief of the Texas Cyber Command. Chief TJ White has been in the role for less than a month, but has already been a great partner to DIR and our security teams. Because Chief White is employee number 1 for the Cyber Command, we've been assisting him in the governor's office in establishing the agency, which is the first time a new state agency has been created here in Texas in the 21st century. As you can imagine, there are quite a few steps involved in setting up an agency, and Chief White has been very appreciative of the efforts of Team DIR in assisting him with this important mission. DIR team members from almost every division across the agency have shown their can-do spirit and chipped in to support the effort. Some of you had the opportunity to virtually meet Chief White during our Information Security Subcommittee. And as I mentioned in that subcommittee meeting, we're ensuring that the chief is a part of the cybersecurity decision-making process while that function remains at DIR. This includes any contract or rulemaking action items that may come before this board. We want you to have the assurance that he has given his guidance and perspective on any items that may come to you for consideration. Per the statute, the transition of DIR's cybersecurity function to the Cyber Command must be completed by December 31st of 2026. This will be a deliberate and thoughtful transition to ensure the continuity of operations and that there are zero gaps in service for our programs and our customers. We will continue to keep you updated on that progress through our subcommittees, board meetings, and other communications. As those of you in the information subcommittee heard from the chief himself, he has been very complimentary of the performance of DIR in delivering on our cybersecurity mission, and grateful to you as a board for your leadership. He has also stressed what I have said since the introduction of this legislation, that DIR and the Cyber Command will be vital partners in securing Texas. I personally have been very impressed with Chief White, and I look forward to working with him in the years to come on this critical mission. One personnel change that I would like to highlight for you is that DIR's Tony Sauerhoff has agreed to serve as our Chief AI and Innovation Officer. I'm thrilled that Tony said yes to this new and vital role here at DIR, especially given the substantial scope of new duties and authority assigned to DIR last session. Tony is still assisting with the supervision and transition of the Chief Information Security Office team while also working on our new AI initiatives, so he will have his feet in both worlds for a while. John Hoffman will continue doing the great work of exploration, education, and outreach around AI and all other emerging technologies, while Tony's role is going to focus on the tactical and operational piece of establishing DIR's AI division and the new AI sandboxes. And as you'll hear later today, the implementation of many pieces of AI legislation that were signed into law has also been a priority for our agency. In addition to the AI Code of Ethics that we're going to discuss later today, the teams have been working and continuing their work on AI literacy and training programs, hiring for the AI division, crafting proposed requirements and architecture for the AI sandboxes, planning for our statewide outreach efforts, and much more. Our focus is to do all the pre-work that we can do right now so that once the required appointments are made to the AI Council and the AI Advisory Board that were created by statute, we can present that work to those bodies for consultation and feedback. It's going to be all things AI for DIR for the foreseeable future, and we look forward to the leadership from you all on the board in that area. I'll pause to see if there's any questions for me at the moment. Okay. Hearing none, then it is my pleasure to introduce to you our newest DIR team members. All right, we have Sunny Schneider, who has joined our operations team as a program manager for Shared Technology Services. Jacob Mendez, who joins us in STS operations, sitting right here in the room and helping with the technical piece this morning. So welcome, Jacob. We also have Lizbeth Shane, who is also joining the COO office as an STS vendor manager. David Shen has joined as a cybersecurity analyst in the operations office for cybersecurity operations. Martha Mello joins as a telecommunications specialist in the operations office. And Grace Wick, a financial office in our chief financial office, do budget and finance. Vikshit Saddam has joined as a telecom data analyst in our chief data office. And Justin Voorhees has joined as a compliance analyst in the chief compliance and risk office. So welcome to our newest members. And that concludes my remarks.
Thank you, Ms. Crawford. The next item on our agenda is the Chief Procurement Office update.
Well, Edith Ann in this chair. My legs are so short. Good morning, everybody. I am Lisa Masick, the Chief Procurement Officer here at DIR. I have action items this morning for contract actions. I have 4 of those. My first action item today is the recommendation for enterprise contract award for the Texas.gov Digital Government Services to Deloitte Consulting LLP. The award to Deloitte Consulting will manage, modernize, and evolve our Texas.gov website Texas.gov constituent online adoption, and Texas by Texas Digital Assistant native mobile application supporting eligible DIR customers and constituents through DIR's Texas.gov Digital Government Services Program. Upon board approval, the effective date will be the date of the last execution signature. The initial term of this contract will be through August 31st of 2030, with the option to extend through August 31st of 2034. Transition will begin upon the effective date and continue through August 31st of 2026, with services commencing on September 1st of 2026. The anticipated contract value of this award is $316,157,513 for the full contract term, including all contract renewals. I ask the board to consider this action as presented.
Thank you. For our board members, I'm going to be asking for an approval of this award. If you make or second the motion, please identify yourself by name and turn on your video if you do not have it on. If you are participating from another location by Zoom, if your camera is not already on. May I now have a motion to approve the recommended action?
It's Glenn Hager, motion.
Mm-hmm.
And may I have a second?
One moment, please. Thank you very much, Chancellor Hager, for making that motion with the change in statute. I know it's confusing. You were previously a voting member and the statute has changed to a non-voting, so we'll need someone else to make the motion.
Ooh, that's even exciting then. Thank you.
But thank you. We appreciate your support. Thank you.
This is Jeffrey Tayon. I so move.
Thank you. May I have a second?
This is Stephen Frankie, a second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Shelley, can you please call the roll for a vote?
Jeffrey Allison,
Aye.
Catherine Bella,
Aye.
Frank Coppersmith,
Aye.
Stephen Frankie,
Aye.
Jeffrey Tayon.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Thank you.
My next action item is an amendment, the second amendment to a service agreement with Symbio Ecosystems LLC. They support DIR with transition assistance and sourcing procurement services. The primary purpose of the proposed amendment is to add to a new tower for STS for managed network services. The contract term of this contract began in August 2024. The current performance period runs through January 4th of 2029. The current contract value is $7,110,111. This amendment will increase that by $691,442. The amendment for the total contract value will be $7,801,553.99. I ask the board to consider this action as presented.
Members of the board, may I have a motion to approve the recommended action?
This is Jeff Allison, motion.
And may I have a second?
This is Stephen Frankie, a second.
Any discussion? Shelley, please call the roll for a vote.
Jeffrey Allison,
Aye.
Catherine Bella,
Aye.
Frank Coppersmith,
Aye.
Stephen Frankie,
Aye.
Jeffrey Tayon.
Aye.
Motion passed.
And
My next action item is an amendment for the Texas Open Data Portal contract with Tyler Technologies. The proposed amendment revises the Open Data Portal and Private Data Sharing Portal Solution contract with Tyler Technologies. The contract was effective in September of 2022 and extends through August of 2026. That contract provided for 4 renewal options. The primary purpose of this amendment is to exercise DIR's option to extend the term for 2 years through August 31st of 2028, leaving 2 remaining option year renewals This amendment also adds certification and compliance requirements and simplifies the pricing structure. The estimated contract value, including optional renewals, is $2,533,770. There is no increase or decrease to the value resulting from this amendment. I ask the board for consideration for this action.
For our board members, may I have a motion to approve the recommended action?
This is
Stephen
Catherine Bella.
Frankie.
I move.
Catherine, thank you. May I have a second?
Stephen Frankie, a second.
Any discussion? Shelley, please call the roll for a vote.
Jeffrey Allison,
Aye.
Catherine Bella,
Aye.
Frank Coppersmith,
Aye.
Stephen Frankie,
Aye.
Jeffrey Taylor.
Aye.
Motion passed.
My next action item is for contracts extensions for 9 of the 22 Texan contracts. The initial term for the Texan contracts was 4 years with the right to extend for up to 4 more years. The team is recommending extension for 2 years for the contracts with sales, leaving the right to extend for 2 more years. We have 2 contracts that have no sales that will be extended for 1 single year, leaving still 3 years remaining. The contracts are part of the DIR's consolidated telecommunications systems. These contracts provide telecommunications services for state agencies and local governments. Services include local and long distance services, cellular and wireless services, data services, including internet, Ethernet, MPLS, dark fiber, and managed telecommunications services, such as unified communication systems and call or contact center solutions. The contracts for renewal are AT&T Enterprise LLC, Anacom Incorporated, Charter Communications, Comcast Business, Continuant Technology, Inc., Granite Telecommunications, NGA 911 LLC, NWN Corporation, Verizon, and Verizon Wireless Business Network. I ask the board to consider this action as presented.
For our board members, may I have a motion to approve the recommended action?
Mr. Chairman, this is Jeffrey Tayon. I so move.
And may I have a second?
This is Jeff Allison. I second.
Any discussion? Shelley, please call the roll for a vote.
Jeffrey Allison,
Aye.
Catherine Bella,
Aye.
Frank Coppersmith,
Aye.
Stephen Frankie,
Aye.
Jeffrey Taylor.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Okay, our next slide is our cooperative sales for 2025. As you can see, overall sales totaled $3.38 billion, which is a 1% or $35.9 million decrease compared to fiscal year 2024. We've seen channel spend in the constituent compared to the same quarter overall, with state agencies and local governments as the top contributors. As for the variances in spend, we're seeing an increase in spending for state agencies at $1.17 billion, or a 9.2% increase. And that's it for that slide. And then our next slide is our for compliance with Texas Government Code 2161 for the hub reporting. The hub reporting was completed in September, and the final report will be posted with the comptroller on November 15th. DIR's total current hub spend is 14.2% over 3.7 million spent with hubs. In 2025 through the fourth quarter, the bottom graph shows our customers are utilizing cooperative contracts, spending over $3.38 billion and using hubs through that program at 25.4%. Next slide. We continue to support, on the left, you can see the first graph, our outreach and training numbers have remained steady. We participated in 371 vendor and customer events and trainings across the state of Texas in 2025. And that's my last remark. Thank you.
Thank you. The next item on our agenda this morning is an Office of the General Counsel update.
Thank you, Mr. Presiding Member, and board members. My name is Joshua Godby. I am DIR's General Counsel. With me, I also have Christy Brisky, and we also have Jenny Holscher, our Chief Privacy Officer, for one of our board actions today as a resource witness, if anything questions are related to the AI rule that we are bringing forward. We've had a bit of a break in rulemaking while we've been going through the sunset process. And now that we have gotten through that process and been through the legislative session, we are back in full swing with our rulemaking and rule amendment here at DIR. Today, we will be bringing 2 rules to the board for consideration for public posting. So this would be the first step in the rulemaking. The board approves, we would put these 2 proposed rule amendments and 1 new rule out for public comment, with the anticipation that we would, after such comment period, bring the rules back to the board at the February meeting for consideration for adoption. We have 1 amendment to our TAC Rule 218, which has to do with data management and governance, to harmonize and standardize some of what the rule does there. We are also commanded by statute to create a new rule. So we will be asking the board to consider creation of TAC 219, which is an AI code of ethics for state and local governments, and AI minimum standards for heightened scrutiny AI systems. So with that, I'll ask Christy to lay out 218 and 219.
Fantastic. Good morning, Mr. Presiding Officer, member of the board. My name is Christy Koenig-Brisky, and I am Assistant General Counsel here at DIR. The Office of General Counsel is here to present 2 action items for your review today, as Josh just described. The first action is the proposal of amendments to 1 TAC Chapter 218, affectionately called TAC 218, and the approval to publish the proposed rule in the Texas Register for public comment. This chapter addresses the various requirements for the biennial data governance assessment that state agencies and institutions of higher education must complete. The proposed amendments address the statutory amendments to the data governance assessment resulting from the passage of House Bill 1500 during the 89th legislative session, as well as clarification on how state agencies and institutions of higher education can submit their data governance assessment. Our first set of proposed updates to TAC 218 address the clarifications to the data governance assessment passed by the 89th legislature in House Bill 1500. Initially, under law, the data governance assessment was a subcategory of information collected to support the information security assessment. However, under HB 1500, which is DIR sunset bill, the legislature identified the data governance assessment as a distinct report on its own, rather than as it previously appeared. This bill also specifies the date by which state agencies and institutions of higher education must submit their data governance assessments to DIR. Under the proposed amendment, the rule would now be aligned with HB 1500's requirements. In addition, our second set of proposed updates to TAC 218 include clarifications for how state agencies and IHEs can now satisfactorily complete and submit their statutorily required biennial information security assessment. Previously, DIR's rule allowed for state agencies and institutions of higher education to complete a data governance assessment in their own form and fashion, so long as it ascribed to the requirements established by the rule. With HB 1500, governmental entities must now submit their data governance assessments to DIR. To ensure we're able to digest and properly analyze the reported information, our rules as proposed would require that entities submit a data governance assessment in the method prescribed by DIR. We have worked with ITCHE and our external state agency stakeholders extensively to ensure that there are no impacts to institutions of higher education or state agencies as a result of the proposed amendment. If it is approved by our board today, yes, sir.
Apologies, itchy.
ITCHE is the Information Technology Council for Higher Education. My apologies. They are statutorily created group that DIR is required to collaborate with on our proposed rules to ensure that we do not unduly burden institutions of higher education.
Got it. Thank you. Please continue.
Of course. If the board approves these rules here today, we will then publish them in the Texas Register, at which point the public will be able to propose comments and give us feedback on those. We will then digest those proposed comments and bring the proposed rule back to the board for adoption. Are there any questions at this time regarding this amendment? Hearing none, I would request the board's action on the motion. Oh, apologies.
Mr. Tayon was trying to ask something.
Here.
Sorry, I think I was muted. But Ms. Brisky, I see that the rule, prior rule has been amended by deleting the dates by which these reports were supposed to be submitted.
Yes, sir.
Do you have, when will people have to submit it? Is that just something that DIR will specify later on an ad hoc basis, or will that be included as part of the rule?
So that is actually now governed by statute. Previously, there were 3 separate dates identified by statute by which state agencies had to complete their data governance assessment. However, in HB 1500, the statute was cleaned up and they established one singular date. And as a result, we did not want to interfere or create additional confusion by adding that date into our rules. So that is established by statute.
And what is that date?
That is June 1st of even numbered years, if I remember correctly.
Okay, thank you.
Of course. Are there any other questions?
Yeah.
Then I would request that the board approve the motion as proposed.
We're just talking just to Texas, chapter 218.
Yes, sir.
218, okay.
Yes, sir. We'll discuss TAC 219 next.
Okay, great. So for our members of the board, can I have a motion to approve the recommended action?
This is Catherine Bella. I so move.
And may I please have a second?
This is Jeff Allison, I second.
And any discussion? Shelley, please call the roll for a vote.
Jeffrey Allison,
Aye.
Catherine Bella,
Aye.
Frank Coppersmith,
Aye.
Stephen Frankie,
Aye.
Jeffrey Taylor.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Thank you. Please continue.
Thank you very much. Our second action item for today is to propose the creation of a new rule chapter, 1 Texas Administrative Code, Chapter 219, affectionately called TAC 219, or more broadly, the AI rules. In the most recent session, the 89th legislature passed SB 1964. Generally, this bill looks to standardize the ethics surrounding AI use by governmental entities and impose standards surrounding governmental entity use, development, procurement, and deployment, of heightened scrutiny artificial intelligence systems, which are AI systems that are specifically intended to anonymously make or be controlling in making a consequential decision as defined by statute. To accomplish this, SB 1964 grants DIR the authority to establish the AI Code of Ethics, including 6 statutorily identified categories of guidance, as well as to establish minimum risk management and governance standards that are consistent with the artificial intelligence risk management framework established by the National Institute for Standards and Technologies for the development, procurement, deployment, and use of heightened scrutiny AI systems by certain governmental entities. To accomplish these tasks, DIR is proposing the creation of a new chapter of rules, TAC Chapter 219, which govern artificial intelligence to the extent that we have been authorized to do so by SB 1964. TAC 219 does not require entities subject to the rule to use artificial intelligence, nor does it preclude them from doing so. TAC 219 establishes that AI Code of Ethics using 6 statutorily identified categories as the foundation for the ethical guidelines when using AI. It also provides minimum standards and risk governance for the use, development, procurement, and deployment of heightened scrutiny AI systems. This rule does not require state agencies to use, develop, procure, or deploy heightened scrutiny, or indeed any AI systems. It also does not prohibit the use of those systems. They simply establish the floor that entities must comply with when implementing a heightened scrutiny AI system. So if an entity is using a heightened scrutiny AI system very specifically, they must at least exceed the minimum requirements that the statute and by extension our rule require. It also establishes those ethical guidelines that pursuant to statute, state agencies, institutions of higher education, and local governments using artificial intelligence must adopt upon DIR's adoption of them. We did work closely with the Information Technology Council for Higher Education to determine whether there were an impact to institutions of higher education as a result of the proposed rule. As a result of these conversations, DIR determined that the proposed rule does not result in an impact to institutions of higher education due to our narrow tailoring of the rule to align with those statutory requirements laid out by SB 1964. There are also no impact to state agencies or local governments as a result of the proposed rule. If approved, we will publish this rule in the Texas Register, and then there will be 30 days for public comment, at which point we will review the comments received and digest them and make any necessary changes and bring those back to the board for potentially reproposal or adoption if they result in no substantive changes. Are there any questions?
Well, just a comment. I certainly hope that you get a lot of reaction, comment, interest from different agencies, because this is obviously an issue that's of a great deal of interest across the country, across the world. And you're obviously writing a new rule on a clean sheet of paper. I know you've based it on a number of things that you've reviewed, and that's great. And but I certainly hope that you get a lot of interaction with this proposal.
We have been lucky to receive much comment and feedback to this point, but I am excited to see what the general public thinks of it as well. Thank you, sir.
Any other questions?
This is Melody Parrish from Texas Education Agency. Once you get this rule approved and in place, do you foresee that some of this rule will flow over into your terms and conditions and some of your contracts, specifically on AI tools? I know that's one thing our legal team at TEA is struggling with, is that there's no real terms and conditions around AI and some of the AI tools that we purchase from the DIR software list.
Yes, we do. And we do anticipate that being the case. We are working on those right now that are in line with what we are proposing. We also do anticipate that if these rules become adopted either in this form or some other form, there will be references to them, and the protections that we are seeking to build into the contracts will be in line with the minimum standards that are laid out here.
Perfect. That'll be very helpful for us.
Of course. Thank you.
What an interesting comment, because so many impacts of whether our vendors can use AI to satisfy our problems, our acquisition of AI, where they have to tell us they're using AI, what extent they've used it, how they're using our data to tie into AI. It's a really interesting point, and you're right. That's all going to have to be sorted.
And those are all things that we are seeking to do with some of the new provisions that we're drafting, and we'll be using them for our new procurements going forward and trying to amend as we move forward with some of our other ones to take those in, because agencies do need as the statute has made clear, agencies do need to know and be making cognizant and responsible decisions when they are using these systems.
Very good.
Are there any other questions? If none, then I would request that the board approve the motion as recommended.
For our board members, may I have a motion to approve the recommended action?
This is Jeffrey Tayon. I so move.
And may I have a second?
This is Stephen Frankie, I second.
Any further discussion? Shall I please call the roll for a vote?
Jeffrey Allison,
Aye.
Catherine Bella,
Aye.
Frank Coppersmith,
Aye.
Stephen Frankie,
Aye.
Jeffrey Tayon,
Aye.
motion passed.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. We have nothing else. Thank you,
All right.
Mr. Presiding Officer.
Thank
Thank
you
you,
very
board
much.
members.
Our next agenda item will be an update for our internal audit.
Good morning. Good morning, presiding officer Coppersmith and board members. I'm Terry Pierce. I'm the audit manager for the department. And today I have two items for the board to consider. The first being an audit of cooperative contract product offerings from restricted entities. The audit firm was asked to perform a review of 215 cooperative contract holders to determine if the company had any direct beneficial ownership ties to restricted entities as defined in state and federal department list. The firm was asked to rate these companies red, yellow, or green. Red being they found ties to those restricted entities. Yellow, they were foreign owned, and then green, they were US owned companies. The audit resulted in 3 vendors found in the red category. And at this time, DIR is no longer doing business with those vendors. I feel like this was a very successful and timely audit, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have about it.
I just have one question.
Yes, sir.
I presume that now that we've done the audit, we now have procedures in place to make sure no new red companies ever end up on our list.
We are working internally to do that. The software, one of the softwares that was used to research these companies, DIR has that contract, and we're working on ways to bring that in internally moving forward.
Okay.
In that same vein, Ms. Pierce, I assume that review is going to go through all contracts, not just cooperative contracts, but everything that DIR comes across. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
I think this is a very important audit that you performed, and I'm very happy that you did it. I'm happy that with results that you came up with, and it's something that hopefully that DIR is going to continue to focus on. Even the companies that fall into the yellow grouping, I hope that the procurement department will look at them very carefully and make sure that there's not any leaky pathways to companies that we don't want to do business with.
Thank you. So then I would ask the board to consider approval of this audit report.
To our board members, may I have a motion to approve the recommended action, the approval of the report?
This is Jeffrey Tayon. I so move.
And may I have a second?
This is Jeff Allison, I second.
Any discussion? Shelley, please call the roll.
Jeffrey Allison,
Aye.
Catherine Bella,
Aye.
Frank Coppersmith,
Aye.
Stephen Frankie,
Aye.
Jeffrey Tayon,
Aye.
motion passed.
Thank you. Next, I have the annual internal audit report for fiscal year 2025. This is a required report and was prepared in accordance with the state auditor's office specifications.
once approved by the board, it will be submitted to the governor's office, the LBB, and the state auditor's office. Audit's not completed on the audit plan. We're due to the program areas, starting projects, either, most of them formal, to review their processes and their policies and procedures. I've been following the progress of those projects and will be reviewing the policies. And then they may end up on a future audit plan. And I'm happy to answer any questions for this annual audit report.
Just one question around the
Mhm.
ones you say that are not started. Do you mean that these are not going to be done in this cycle and those will be pushed to a future cycle?
Right, they may be moved to the future cycle because the program areas started working on their processes. An internal audit looking backwards didn't make sense at this time.
I
So I feel like it was a successful audit plan because it, you know, brought up some areas that may be at risk or need improving.
And do you work with these organizations on those processes as they're being developed or just after the fact?
I'm in an advisory role, and then I will review their processes afterwards.
Okay, so you get to influence this development and then at the end you get to check it to kind of see.
Right, yes, sir.
And for us, we have our chief compliance and risk officer,
Mhm.
who then would work with these program areas on this process to make
Yes.
sure that they're building these out. Terry in a consultative role, but then she could come in with independence to audit after the fact.
Guys, we've got the compliance piece and then the audits piece. after the fact.
Exactly.
Perfect, understood, thank you.
I'm happy to answer any questions. Then I would ask the board to consider approval of this report.
For our board members, we have a motion to approve the annual audit report.
This is Jeff
This is Jeff.
Allison, so moved.
We have a second.
Catherine Vella, I second.
Any discussion? Shelley, please call the roll for a vote.
Jeffrey Allison,
Aye.
Catherine Bella.
Aye.
Frank Coppersmith,
Aye.
Stephen Frankie,
Aye.
Jeffrey Tayon,
Aye.
motion passed.
Ms. Pierce.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Pierce. Our next item on our agenda is the Chief Financial Office update.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Coppersmith and board members. I apologize for not being there in person. I'm a bit under the weather, so thought it best to kind of do this remotely. So we'll go ahead and get started with a presentation of our fourth quarter financial operating results, and then we'll also have a budget amendment that we're bringing forward to you. We did present this information and reviewed it back on October the 8th with the Audit, Finance, and Legal Subcommittee. So if we'll go to the next slide. Basically, our revenues continue to outperform our budget, primarily from the Shared Technology Services Program. We continue to see that our customers are utilizing those services, and the demand for the shared technology services continue to grow. So that was the big driver there. And then we're coming in under budget on our operating expenses, about $3.5 million on the year. So we're in a good spot from a financial perspective in terms of wrapping up the fiscal year. If we go to the next slide, our fund balances, to the extent that we have any excess fund balances in our cooperative contracts or clearing fund, we'll be looking at performing some method of finance swaps with GR and be able to transfer some general revenue back to the Treasury. So again, as we've been able to do each year with that given latitude that the legislature provided to DIR, we initially get general revenue for our cybersecurity services to deliver those. And then to the extent that our other revenue sources overperform, then we can do a swap and actually cover some of those cyber expenses with those other revenue streams and then give back the general revenue. Next slide, please. Normally at this board meeting, the October board meeting, we wouldn't be getting into a discussion of the current fiscal year, But since we do have a budget action item to bring to the board this morning for fiscal year 26, I wanted to insert this slide that we had that we presented during the August board meeting. And so for of our overall budget for fiscal year 26. So about
We just interrupt very briefly. I'm so sorry. We lost you for about 30 seconds. Could you just reset? We want to make sure we don't lose those comments for the record.
Thank you. I just got the notice on here that it was an unstable for a second. Can you hear me now? Okay.
We can. Maybe go
Thank you.
back and just restart that slide FY 26 budget highlights.
Absolutely. Thank you. So with this slide, the reason we're bringing it forward is because, again, to point back to the budget amendment that we're going to be requesting here shortly. And then for those board members that were not able to attend the August board meeting, just wanted to give you all a snapshot, a very high level overview of what our budget is looking like for fiscal year 26. So our total budget is approximately 962.7 million. As y'all are aware, in the way that we sort of manage that budget, we have a couple of components to that. Our cost of services, which are those underlying, consider those as cost of goods sold, if you will, those are the payments that we're making to the service providers in those various programs, telecommunications, shared technology services, texas.gov. That portion of our budget is about 835.4 million this year is what we're estimating it at. Then our operating expenses are at 127.3 million, or 13% of our total budget. But if you break that out even a little at a more granular level, 74 million of that operating expense total is cybersecurity related. So those are those services that the OCISO office is delivering, assessments, penetration tests, training, et cetera, RSOCs, the regional security operations centers. And then as far as what you may consider the more standard administrative components of the DIR budget, administrative expenses, et cetera, we're at about 53.3 million, or 5% of the total budget for the agency is spent on sort of the granular DIR administrative expenses. So I just wanted to highlight that again for as a reminder, and then for those that weren't able to join last time. So if we go to the next slide, we are bringing one budget amendment to the board this morning and to request your approval. What this pertains to is regarding the Regional Security Operations Center at the University of Texas at Austin. So DIR received approximately 8.7 million in general revenue for the biennium for the RSOC UT Austin. We budgeted to actually split that equally between the fiscal years. However, in communication between our OCISO office and
again, apologies. You cut out for just a minute. Could you take back
Absolutely.
about 30 seconds?
Absolutely.
And talk about what you're saying there are SOC at Austin.
Yes. So the UT Austin RSOC, we budgeted 8.7 million for the biennium. We received 8.7 million for the 2-year cycle in general revenue. We had anticipated to split those funds equally between each year of the biennium, so, and basically go forward from there. UT Austin has requested that we bring forward 2.7 million forward into an additional 2.7 million into fiscal year 2026 to provide funding for some multi-year licensing fees for security tools and some hardware investments that they anticipate wanting to make. DIR does have the budget flexibility to do this. Our appropriations for this particular amount of general revenue were for the biennium. So we can bring forward and funds and allocate them to this fiscal year. and deliver that additional budget to UT Austin. So with that, we have this requested motion to increase our 2026 security services budget by $2,727,250 to provide additional GR funding to the RSOC at UT Austin. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions, and then again would request the approval of this recommended motion. And I apologize for the.
I just have a quick question around, you're saying you've got the budget flexibility to increase. What do you mean by that? I mean, I think I understand it, but I'd like to really understand what that means for us.
Absolutely. Yes, sir. Absolutely. So DIR received this pot, if you will, of general revenue, this portion of general revenue from the legislature, and it was provided at a gross amount for the biennium. It was not, unlike other components of our budget, it didn't require that we spend X amount in year one and X amount in year two. We have the flexibility with this component of the funding that we received to, basically allocate it all in year one or split it up. And so when we presented the budget to the DIR board in August, the intention was to split it up between the two fiscal years. Discussions with UT Austin and our OCISO office basically have led to this request that they are asking if we can pull some of that funding forward so that they can begin to act, covering some of these licensing fees and making some hardware investments that they intend to make.
So it's a timing issue on the spend. We're not going to
Correct.
be back next year and need to backfill that 2 million.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, thank you. That's very clear.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Excuse me. And with that, I would request the board's approval of the recommended motion.
For our board members, may I have a motion to approve the budget amendment as described?
This is Catherine Vella. I so move.
And do I have a second?
This is Jeff Allison, I second.
Any discussion beyond what we had?
Mr. Villapando, I do have one question, and that is you said that there was a savings of expenses of about 3.5 million over which you had projected. What is the reason for that?
Sure. So on that, if we go back to our operating budget, a big portion of that was in our shared technology services program, where we had anticipated in fiscal year 25, we had anticipated spending additional funds with some outside service providers for the procurement and transition service assistance. And if you recall earlier, when Lisa Masick was up and presenting some contract amendments, I believe, to the Symbio contract, a portion of that was we didn't spend the funds in 25, and we anticipate spending because of project scheduling. We had savings last year, but we're going to be spending on those transition assistance for some of our STS programs in fiscal year 26. We also had some savings in some of the cybersecurity services, and then ultimately some for various salaries and administrative expenses that came in under budget on our operating expenses.
So some of those expenses we anticipate carrying forward next year.
Correct.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any further questions or discussions before I call for the vote? Nothing heard. Shelley, please call the roll for a vote.
Jeffrey Allison,
Aye.
Catherine Bella,
Aye.
Frank Coppersmith,
Aye.
Stephen Frankie,
Aye.
Jeffrey Tayon.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Thank you very much, board members.
All right, thank you. The next item on our agenda would be the update from the Chief Technology Office.
Good morning, Chair and members. I'm John Hoffman and I'm DIR's Chief Technology Officer. I'd like to focus today's update on the 2026-2030 State Strategic Plan for Information Resources Management. The strategic plan was reviewed in the Strategic Initiative Subcommittee. Draft is in your board material, and we will ask for board approval to formalize the document at the end of the report. I've asked Tessa Lopez, DIR Senior Policy Analyst, to walk through the strategic plan process, and I will review the plan goals and objectives.
Thank you, John. Good morning, board members. I'm Tessa Lopez, and I am Senior Policy Analyst here with DIR, and I do coordinate the state strategic plan. So I just wanted to go through a quick background on the plan and also walk you through some of those activities that take place during the planning process. So DIR is required to update this plan every year, every 2 years. This plan does provide strategic direction. It establishes technology goals, and it also offers guidance for managing IT resources in state government for the 5 years following the adoption of that plan. We do collaborate with an advisory committee that's appointed by the board to prepare this plan. And we do submit this plan to the governor and the Legislative Budget Board on November 1st. Next slide. So just touching on the planning process here, the actual planning process does span about 9 months. Beginning in January, we selected and nominated members for the advisory committee, and these members were appointed by the board in February, during the February board meeting. During the months of April and May, the committee held 2 working sessions to review the current strategic plan, and we had them identify any new challenges that could impact the existing goals of that plan. After these 2 meetings, we then surveyed technology leaders throughout state agencies and institutions of higher education to refine those focus areas of the new plan. And then in August and September, we drafted the content of the plan, and we also worked with our internal DIR SMEs to refine and validate the content of the plan. Next slide, please. Our strategic vision for this new plan does remain consistent with the previous plan. The foundation of the vision is solid, so we are building upon rather than replacing what we've already established.
All right. With direction from the advisory committee and the IT leadership survey, the plan is continued with guiding principles of prioritize security, focus on Texans, and collaborate. These principles are table stakes in all that we do in IT and are woven into all the goals and objectives of the plan. Next slide. The 2026 through 2030 strategic plan goals continue focus in 4 key areas: provide exceptional government service experience, manage data responsibly to power AI and technology innovation, develop a skilled and sustainable workforce, and modernize government services through emerging technologies. Next slide. For each of the goals, the plan provides insight to the challenges facing the IT community as well as desired outcomes. For each of the goals, the plan also provides objectives and best practices for public sector entities. I will not review each of these objectives, but reference that they really provide an actionable strategic direction for each of the goals. Also in the plan, it provides focus on agencies, including the new Texas Cyber Command and insight to that. Insight from the IT leadership and graphs and understandings and the statistics and all the feedback. And it gives a summary of DIR's resources and support available to help the entities implement the different strategic plan items. I'm happy to answer any questions and would request the board consider the recommended motion.
Questions before we call for a vote?
Mr. Hoffman, I know you have a page in here about the Texas Cyber Command. Obviously, as that's implemented during your 5-year plan, what do you see the changes for DIR versus cybersecurity command in terms of how that's going to affect your 5-year plan?
So the 5-year plan certainly lays out the Cyber Command and its goals and obligations as the HB 150 has identified them. DIR will continue to support in our resources for enabling cybersecurity through contracts and such. And the ongoing dialogue and MOU between the Texas Cyber Command and DIR as that's formalized and framed up over the next several years. The principles of the Cyber Command are stated in statute, and that's the direction that we have pushed for the strategic side.
And the other, to your point, Mr. Tayon, is it's a 5-year plan that we review and renew every 2 years. So when we next meet to go over this, the Cyber Command will be fully established, have its legs under it to be able to really execute more on its vision and pulling out some of the additional pieces and functionality that are beyond what DIR does now. And so we would anticipate in the next plan that we would bring to y'all 2 years from now, that you're going to see something more fully fleshed out for what that future vision for Cyber Command will be.
Thank you.
For our board members, we have a motion to approve the 2026-2030 state strategic plan for information resources.
This is
This is
Jeff Allison,
Jeffrey.
so moved.
Mr. Allison, may I have a second?
This is Stephen Frankie, I second.
Any further discussion of the plan? Shelley, please call the roll for a vote.
Jeffrey Ellison,
Aye.
Catherine Bella,
Aye.
Frank Coppersmith,
Aye.
Stephen Frankie,
Aye.
Jeffrey Tayon.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Great. Thank you all very much. I'd like to just a quick appreciation to the entire DIR team. Tessa and the CXO team worked tirelessly on this. The advisory committee itself, a lot of investment and time there, the IT leadership folks that responded, and the DIR board for their support. So thank you all very much.
Thank you,
Concludes my
sir.
report.
Our next item on this agenda is our Chief Operations Office update.
Good morning, Mr. Coppersmith, members of the board. My name is Dale Richardson, DIR's Chief Operations Officer. I'll be reporting on service delivery for Q4 FY25 on our shared technology services as well as our communications technology services programs. Starting with shared technology services, this chart measures the percentage of service level agreements, or SLAs, attained each month by our service providers in the STS program. For Q4 FY25, we achieved over 97% service level attainment and averaged over 98% for the entire fiscal year. Next slide. Looking at monthly customer satisfaction, this chart shows the number of customers that rate the overall service they receive as acceptable, good, or excellent each month. For Q4 FY25, we had another excellent quarter, achieving 100% customer satisfaction, while averaging 99.3% for the entire fiscal year. Now looking at communications technology services, we continue to work with the Texas Facilities Commission on the design and specifications to provide voice and data services to the 2 new Capitol Complex buildings going up right next door to us. The Lavaca building currently has all floors poured, and they have begun the framing and window installation of the building. On the Congress building, they have just started framing the top floor. We have awarded work to construct the infrastructure where the vertical cabling to both buildings, which we expect that construction to start this January. We also will be going out for the tenant cabling bids for each of the buildings in Q2 of FY26. The current targeted move-in date for agencies is still scheduled for late summer of 2027. Next slide. State Preservation Board is going to be renovating the Sam Houston building. And DIR is being asked by the State Preservation Board to permanently relocate staff and the equipment room out of the Sam Houston building. So we're gonna be working with State Preservation Board to transition the equipment room over to a new building that the Preservation Board is actually constructing and behind Sam Houston building. And then separately, we're working with the Texas Facilities Commission on moving staff out of the Sam Houston building and permanently relocating both the staff and the DIR Innovation Lab over to the Barbara Jordan building. Next slide shows the completed work orders by our Communications Technology Services teams. First chart on the left shows orders that are placed by our customers for DIR Build Network Services in Q4. FY25, 743 orders were completed. The next chart shows completed work orders for the centralized managed voice system on the Capitol Complex. In Q4 of FY25, we completed 663 work orders. And the last chart on the right shows the number of cabling projects DIR completed for state agencies. That team completed 40 projects in Q4 FY25. And finally, this next slide shows the number of Texan customers and DIR direct bill purchases. Pie chart on the left for Q4 FY25 shows our customer base increased by 1.8% from the previous quarter. And the pie chart on the right shows Q4 FY25 Texan purchases down 6.4% from Q4 a year ago. The decrease is in Q4 is primarily attributed to a decrease in customers purchasing long distance and toll-free voice services. That concludes my presentation. Happy to answer any questions.
Are there any questions from the board? Okay, thank you very much. Our next item on our agenda will be the Chief Information Security Office update.
Good morning, Mr. Coppersmith and DIR board members. I'm Jeremy Wilson, Deputy Chief Information Security Officer. We can go to the next slide, please. So for highlights for today's meeting, slide update on the Regional Security Operations Center, RSOC's interagency contract. I can let you guys know that all the IACs are fully executed and funds have either been transferred or in the process of being transferred right now for this fiscal year. Also wanted to mention on the Information Security Officer Summit that was held, approximately 50 Chief Information Security Officers from state agencies and universities attended. We also had Chief White there and he kicked off the summit. So it was nice to see. And then for the Cybersecurity Incident Response Team, we participated in a Black Start Grid failure exercise hosted by the Texas Public Utility Commission and the Texas Division of Emergency Management. This is in line with several executive orders from Governor Abbott testing the grid and critical infrastructure. And there's one we've been working on very specifically with TDM around Executive Order 49. And that tabletop exercise testing the water sector is going to be our first ever exercise, is currently planned for November 5th. So we've got a pretty good list of attendees, including TCQ and ourselves and TDM and other external stakeholders. So looking forward to that event. We can move on to the next slide. And then we launched a GRC Hub, a repository for sharing information security documentation. It includes samples or templates or policies, procedures, plans, and guidelines. And the GRC Hub will also be available to all Texas ISAL public sector users. So that is launched. And then we can also move on to the next slide. So for our security assessments and penetration test statistics for Texas Cybersecurity Framework, we have a goal of 40. We're sitting at 48, so that is 120% completed. And then for penetration tests, we have a goal of 50. We're sitting at 77, so 154% completed. And then you can see the breakdown by quarter for the fiscal year. If y'all don't have any questions, that concludes my portion of the brief.
Any questions for Mr. Wilson from our board? Mr. Wilson, thank you.
Thank you.
Our next agenda item will be an update from our Chief Data Office.
Good morning, Mr. Copsmith, board members. I'm Neil Cook, State Chief Data Officer here at DIR. Next slide, please. Some highlights initially for the Open Data Portal. This past fiscal year had its highest growth yet, showing again that government data is being used more extensively, and I'll share more about that in a moment. We're actively connecting with data officers around the state through individual briefings, focused demos, teamwork sessions, to help with their variety of data projects. This includes a recent chat with the Cancer Prevention and Research Institute on how good data management can support some of their upcoming work. And on the data literacy front, we connected with the city of LaPorte, Texas, and the Oregon Health Authority, both of whom are interested in developing their own data literacy programs based on the model here in Texas. Next slide, please. For the Open Data Portal, fiscal year 25 has hit a new high of over 2 million total interactions on the portal. In earlier years, visits really dominated the focus, but fiscal year 25 saw downloads jump fivefold over the previous fiscal year. Analysis here by Tyler Tech, who host our portal, largely attribute the growth to bot traffic associated with ChatGPT and similar services. So people are interacting with these bots, which are then making large-scale data requests through the portal. The non-bot activity, however, does also show modest incremental growth across the data sets. And some of the most popular data sets this fiscal year contributing to this growth include the ever-popular comptroller's mixed beverage receipts, but also Texas Department of Transportation's bid tabulations, which are bids submitted for tech stock projects, and Collin County appraisal data was also heavily hit. Whatever people are using, whatever method they want to use to access this activity does really underscore, I think, the portal's growing importance as a central hub of trusted open government data. Next slide, please. On the data literacy front, we've now 144 individuals registered across all our courses, with 27 organizations hosting some or all of our content on their own learning management platforms. Participants are rated on both satisfaction and likelihood to recommend, which is a 4.7 out of 5. And agencies are currently leading in the total registrations, but higher education is seeing much higher completion rates. Shouldn't be too big of a surprise, I suppose, but the difference does seem to come down to the environment rather than the course content. Higher ed having more likely a better structure and accountability, which appears to translate into follow through on continuing education coursework. Next slide. Level 2 data literacy courses, which are our fundamentals track, continues to grow too. Topics are prioritized using insights from our annual data literacy assessment, which we'll be sending out again in January, so we can focus on what participants are most interested in initially. With level 2 courses now available, quite a few of those available now, participants who complete level 1 have much more options to deepen their skills in areas like AI, metadata, data visualization, keeping the experienced learners engaged. And our newest course, Introduction to Data Architecture, will be launching very soon, further expanding our catalog for data literacy. Next slide. And finally, it's just a selection of the data management program briefings, speaking events and collaborations we've conducted this past quarter. And that concludes our remarks.
Members of the board, any questions for Mr. Cook? Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Our next item on the agenda will be an update from our Chief Experience Office.
Good morning, Mr. Coppersmith. Good morning, board members. Happy to see you today. I'm Indy Silva. I'm the Chief Experience Officer at DIR. Excited to give you an update on the Chief Experience Office, or CXO. Slide, please. The Chief Experience Office includes most of the outreach responsibilities for DIR programs, and these outreach activities include cybersecurity, where we have spent most of the past quarter preparing for Cybersecurity Awareness Month, which is every October. So we are currently in the midst of that. You will see a lot of resources and events being posted on our social media channels. CXO also directs many of the outreach efforts for procurement and contracting, including 8 trainings for customers on how to do business with DIR, 2 leveraging DIR webinars, and attending 2 procurement conferences across the state. We also host technology guidance and education events for agency leaders. And last quarter, we hosted an information resources manager roundtable on organizational change management and a customer listening session on the new IT procurement as a service pilot that we are currently implementing as a result of legislation. Next slide. I do want to call out one of our signature DIR events, DIR Discover, which is our annual conference dedicated to data and emerging technology. DIR Discover was held October 1st, and it was a huge success with over 500 public sector registries, the most we've ever had for this conference. We were also able to increase our vendor exhibitor participation, and we had over 100 vendors participating at DIR Discover exhibit. In addition to data and AI and emerging tech, this conference is unique with a pre-conference workshop where we offer a chance for attendees to drill into topics such as accessibility, procurement, major information resources projects, and customer experience. And new this year was a growing in government meetup for young state professionals who are in the early parts of their career. This was the idea of CXO Sylvia Adams, who started as an intern at DIR and joined our team in 2024. We're excited to see this continue as a future part of DIR Discover, and I want to give a special shout out to Mark Leavenworth of the CXO, the Chief Data Office, of course, and the Chief Technology Office, and all of their staff who helped make this event a really great event. Next slide. The statewide digital accessibility program helps state agencies make Texas government websites, IT, and technology services accessible to every Texan. In the last quarter, the program had a Teams community increase of increased up to 376 members, and that's up 90 members from last quarter. So we increased our membership to our Teams community by 90 members. Our digital accessibility officer, Marie Cohan, and our accessibility program specialist, Juliana Vargas, are doing a lot of outreach to increase that Teams community. Our coffee chat attendance is averaging over 100 attendees per month, covering issues like the recent rule change for accessibility compliance. And we continue to onboard state employees to our Access U Academy for accessibility continuing education. Next slide, please. Our digital presence continues to grow. In fact, last quarter, we had over 1,000 impressions on our LinkedIn posts, meaning that over 100,000 people or organizations saw the information we posted. Additionally, we are averaging around 6,000 searches each week on LinkedIn. This means this indicates how often our profile appears as a result when someone uses the LinkedIn search bar. This is a good indication of our profile's visibility and relevance on LinkedIn. And this growth not only enhances our visibility, but also strengthens our ability to communicate and engage with our audience effectively. Next slide, please. On this slide, I provide updates on our customer experience focus areas. These are activities we are working on internally with DIR divisions and externally with our agency customers. A quick few highlights here. We are enhancing operational efficiency through the deployment of Qualtrics, which is a dashboard that helps us see some of our customers' insights. Our collaboration with our People and Culture Office continues as we work through employee experience projects to improve employee experience at DIR. We are establishing Voice of the Customer, or VOC, metrics and aligning program surveys to gather and analyze customer feedback effectively. And we're also promoting the value and integration of customer experience through training, awareness, and toolkits. As we see customer experience in the state strategic plan, we are preparing for providing resources to state agencies who want more direction on how to do customer experience strategies at their agencies. As I mentioned, we did host a workshop at DIR Discover, and that has yielded also a few requests for follow-up discussions. Next slide. Just to drill down a little bit more on voice of the customer, a good customer experience program will focus on measuring and improving processes and customer interactions. So voice of the customer literally means how our customers are voicing how they feel about DIR. We capture their insights through a variety of ways, including annual customer satisfaction surveys. We also align all of our division surveys to make sure that we are asking the right questions. We are aligning timing so we are not surveying our customers to death. And in July, we deployed Qualtrics feedback tool on the DIR website. And this is a passive tool that lays on our website. Users can provide feedback at their convenience versus us constantly pinging them. And they can provide insights on how the website is working for them. They can report issues if they're seeing something that's not working technically. And then, of course, contact us directly with any specific issues. Next slide. And I just want to share a little bit of those results that we are seeing. We launched in July, and we are already seeing some really great insights. Overall, people are finding the site easy to navigate. They rated a 4.3 out of 5 when it comes to site navigation. The overall satisfaction with the website is 3.6 out of 5, so some improvement to happen there. And 68% of customers or users are saying that they are successfully completing their task. For the approximately 30 individuals who chose to answer a satisfaction question, most say they are somewhat satisfied and extremely satisfied with the website, though we do see some extremely dissatisfied scores coming in there, and we are looking into that to make sure that that informs any improvements and modernization efforts as we look to work through our website going forward. So this is giving us really good insights on one of our most public-facing tools for customer feedback, and we are using this as a baseline to inform the board on how we are doing going forward. Members, that's it for my update, and I welcome any questions you may have.
What are there any questions for Ms. Silva?
Ms. Silva, this last chart that you've given us, I mean, obviously some of these numbers are pretty low, frankly. You know, average overall satisfaction, 3.6 out of 5. That's kind of low. Successfully complete the task, only 68%. Are you getting any specific comments that can be used with the Texas.gov team as to how to improve the website from this, or are you just getting kind of an initial impression, some numbers that don't really tell us what the problem is that people are seeing?
Yes, we do get some insights. A lot of it is just scoring, so a lot of it is just quantitative data, but those who do choose to provide feedback, a lot of it is technical issues, and they're just basing their satisfaction on some technical issues. For example, when they're searching our contracts, they have to download a spreadsheet on all of their search criteria. Sometimes that can be clunky. Sometimes it times out if they choose a large filter criteria. So a lot of it is technical issues. We are looking through that. A lot of it in this, again, this is just a short period of time frame since July, when we released a new portal, our e-procurement portal. And some of the feedback that was presented to us in this tool came from some confusion and technical issues with the portal. So we are definitely looking at where they are when they provide these metrics, where they are on the website. If they were on a certain page and that's getting them frustrated, we can definitely look and see if we could retool that website or that page to give them what they need.
Do you have any kind of follow-up with the people who aren't satisfied to ask them to be more specific, in a way to let them know that they could help influence the direction of the website if we had more particulars from them?
Yes, sir. That's a really great question. And unfortunately, this is an anonymous survey. We do give them the option to provide their contact information if they do want us to follow up and have more discussion on what they're seeing or what issues they're having. We have not gotten many specific individual contact information. We are adding to the feedback tool. If they do select extremely dissatisfied or dissatisfied, we are adding a branch to that survey where they could actually discuss what the problem is, so that it'll give us some insights. Now that we know what it's looking like after we've launched, we're tweaking the tool now.
Thank you.
Thank you. Great questions.
And I just want to provide, just real quick, if I may, one point of clarification that on these surveys, or this data is on the DIR website
Yes.
and not for texas.gov. So this is the website that we build and maintain for DIR services, and our efforts around all of that. The texas.gov metrics are separate.
Yes.
And how do our metrics compare to texas.gov?
Texas.gov does not have a tool like this on the Texas.gov website, but I know we do annual surveys, and I could get that information for comparison next board meeting.
Seems like that would be useful information for texas.gov.
Absolutely, yes, sir.
Any further questions? Ms. Silva, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So our next agenda item is public testimony. Does anyone wish to provide public comment? When you walked into this room or registered for this meeting through Zoom, you noted whether you wish to make a comment. At this time, DIR will identify those who signed up to provide public comment by name. If the person intends to provide public comment through Zoom, DIR will unmute that individual's microphone once their name has been called. Shelley, do we have anyone registered to provide comment?
We do not have anyone present registered, one person registered online to provide comment, but has since said that they do not wish to provide public comment. So, no.
Okay, thank you very much. Before I adjourn, Ms. Crawford, do you have any final comments?
No final comments from me. Thank you.
Okay, members of the board, may I have a motion to adjourn? Or we could just sit.
Mr. Chair, this is Stephen Frankie. So moved.
Thank you. May I have a second?
Jeff Allison, I second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 This meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.